Thursday night. Dude, do we have a show for tonight?
Oh, there's a big one, man.
Big. Woo! Nature boy. First off, this is crazy news. The NFL auction, did you hear about this?
Oh my God, yeah.
This was ugly.
Yeah. This is a weird move.
Yeah, I mean, they did like a draft, like a fancy draft,
Right.
but they did it auction style.
Right.
Maybe not understanding the racial implications.
Sure, yeah.
Not good.
Predominantly black athletes in the league having an auction.
Yeah.
No, we're making fun.
Right.
Yeah, we're on the right side of
Hopefully
history.
people understand that.
Yeah.
But when they don't laugh, it seems like it was a misfire.
Sure. But just to let them know at home,
Yes.
we're doing the opposite thing.
Yes.
We're making fun of the people that were being racist.
Satire.
We're good people.
Irony. A hint. All right. Well, we have quite a show today. We have the great Artie Lange is coming by.
Huge, man.
I think the funniest on-air guy. Like, there's no one better than Artie.
Just naturally funny every single moment. He's
Always.
amazing.
And he's in one of my favorite sports movies ever, Beer League.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, it's a
fun
one.
movie.
Yeah, it is a good movie.
We also have the Giants tight end. I believe he's played in the most football games of any Giant.
He's got the record.
Howard Cross.
Yeah, I know, man. This is huge.
I'm here with Howard Cross. Thanks for joining us, man. Really appreciate it.
I'm glad I could be here.
So, I mean, 2 Super Bowls out of the gate I got to ask you about. The first one you won. Mm-hmm. Second one I lost some money on.
That's okay. Me too.
So, I mean, is that crazy to come into the league and then just out of the gate you're a champion?
I think it's kind of crazy because, you know, growing up where I did and we never winning any championships, even though I played at Alabama, we were always close but never really winning a big game. All of a sudden you're winning the NFC East the first year, and the next year in the Super Bowl. It was a little weird. And then what was going on in the universe at the time with the Persian Gulf War, growing up in the era where it was like, now we're kind of used to hearing about, you know, being involved in conflict and stuff, but back then it was like, last war I'd ever heard of was Vietnam, so it was like really, really weird.
Yeah, and did you feel like you kind of escaped it a little bit?
It was on TV all the time. There were a lot more military people around. I remember watching shows and watching guys walk around with M16s and stuff and laughing and thinking like, man, we live in the greatest country in the world. You never see that now. You get on the subway, you see it, so it's a little different.
Right. Did a lot of people you grew up with, did they go over and serve in that war?
A lot of people I grew up with did from down south. A lot of people going into the Army. Either you go to college or you go into the military, and all those guys got a chance to go and serve. Even the last guy I played, Colonel Greg Gaston, the guy I played my last college game against. He was at West Point. I was at Alabama. He went and served in the war. He's kind of the guy, one of the inspirational leaders for the Giants.
I mean, 12 years. Is it meaningful that you spent all that time with one team?
It is. I think that we were on the cusp of the whole free agency market. You know, before my group, there was no trading and going from team to team. Guys like think about Barry Sanders. He retired because he couldn't trade teams. He couldn't get out of Detroit, and he wanted to win a championship or at least get a chance to play for one. They wouldn't let him, so he just retired. Guys were doing that back in those days, and now, right around towards the mid to late part of my career, Plan B free agency happened. All of a sudden, you could be franchised, and teams were moving around. You got traded constantly, and you got to go from team to team in free agency. It made a big difference in the league and made a difference in how guys approached what they were doing. It became more business-oriented as much as team-oriented.
Do you feel like, I mean, you play a position where you were such a great blocker. Do you feel like you kind of don't get the credit you deserve sometimes because blockers don't really, they don't get enough credit? We had Justin Pugh on. He's such a great offensive lineman, and he's a Pro Bowler, but you don't really hear about the people that make the block. It's always the person that make the play.
Yeah, you know, I think that fans like stats. They like yards. They like yards after catch. They like tackles. When you're doing what I was doing in the league, blocking from a tight end standpoint, there was nobody like me. There was no guy that could, like, I'd run out and catch a ball, then I'd come back in and block Reggie White one-on-one. So it was like, so it's just different world back then. And it just came from the attitude that, you know, you were just playing. You know, it was a game. I wanted to play the game. I enjoyed doing it. It was not like you were asking me to do something crazy or something I didn't want to do. I'm like, I'll just play. Like, well, you know, we can't throw the ball because Reggie White's all over. So I'll block him. They're like, yeah, right. Then I'm going to have to, hey, Reggie, how you doing, man? Yeah, keep that God thing to yourself. I'm going to cut you in a second. Watch your knees, bro. You know, I'm still your buddy, though.
Were you cool with Reggie?
Yeah, very cool with Reggie.
What was that like? Were there guys that you didn't like?
Oh, yeah. There, you know.
Like, who didn't you like?
Oh, easy. Bill Romanowski.
Oh, yeah.
I'd fight him right now on set. I mean,
I'll fight him with you. It's going to be a different outcome for me. But.
He just wasn't a nice guy. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think hopefully now in life he's gotten better, but it just wasn't a nice guy. Spitting on a receiver or punching a guy in the face that people were holding. I mean, he'd have to leave the country to spit on me. He'd be in witness protection right now if he had to spit on me. I swear to God, it would have been bad.
So Romanowski you hated. What kind of stuff would he say when you'd go against him?
He wouldn't say anything. He would just do something dirty and cheap. Like I'd block him and drive him all the way out of the play. He'd grab me by the face mask and throw me on the ground. And the official would just like, cross, cross, cross. I'm like, where's the flag? He goes like, he smiled and go back to the huddle. I'm like, I'm going to kill you. It's like, so he would, do everything he could to get me out of the flow of the game. So I wasn't a big talker. So he would just do dirty things to you during the game. He would, push you in the back or punch you when he had a chance. If you were like in a pile, he'd punch you or scratch you or do something stupid.
Oh my God.
I'm like, I will break your leg if I could handle it. So I was always aggravated with him the whole time. I'd be aggravated when I showed up at the stadium, like, oh, I can't stand this guy. So it was just that kind of thing.
How about, so you blocked for some guys. I mean, we had Tiki Barber on a couple weeks ago. You played with the young Tiki, with the young Ron Dane.
Yeah.
What did you see in Tiki when he was a different player, I think, after you left and when you were still there? What did you see in him?
Well, first off, he had to learn, and he'll tell you this, he had to learn where to go, how to fit in with the blocking system. And the big thing was if you had a guy, the way we had it set up, that if you saw where I was standing on the field, you knew that one person or maybe even two people may be blocked. So follow the instruction.
Right.
He was more of a slash dash cutting guy, and he's like, he wanted to make moves. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm blocking this guy, so those guys are going to get you. Right. So if you come over here, you'll be safe kind of moment. And it took him a little bit to catch on, and once he got it, he could determine which guy was going to be, what was the best matchups in the game. So once you start to figure that out, you'll see guys that'll run into the line and then they don't get in the yards. Then you'll see guys that can actually see where the blocks were happening and start to cut. And we helped him learn that early on. And once he got it, he was phenomenal at it.
When Kerry Collins came in, what were you thinking? Was there a party that's like, finally, we have a quarterback who's going to be our quarterback for a while?
I thought it was funny because Kerry had gotten in trouble with some racist or some kind of stupid thing.
What did he do?
In Carolina, I have no idea. It was just something stupid. And they asked me to go, like, okay, I'll go play golf with him. I'm like, why? I got to play golf with him. I'm like, if something goes wrong, then I'm going to be they're like, Howard. I'm like, all right. So I go out with him. We're playing golf. It's really fun. I'm like, okay, he's kind of cool. He hits the ball into the trees. And I'm like, okay, well, just, drop it out here and we'll keep going. He goes, no, I can hit it. I can hit it to the green from here. I'm like, you cannot hit it to the green from here. He hits the ball into the tree. It actually nicks his ear. It almost killed him. And I thought to myself, they're going to swear I killed this guy out here.
We're back on People Talking Sports. First off, he's a Super Bowl champion, and I recently performed at a JCC. Howard Cross is here.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Wow. What does that mean?
One of my favorites, Artie Lange is here. He's in The Beer League, one of the best sports movies ever.
Well, thank you.
It's Derrick Rose's favorite movie, right?
No, I don't know if it's his favorite movie. I think his favorite movie is Lethal Weapon 3. But Dirty Work is, no, not Dirty Work, I'm going over my IMDb. Beer League. Now, he sent an article out of nowhere. He said, me and my buddies watch Beer League. And so I wrote him. He didn't write back.
And Anthony DeVito, Dream Occupation is on iTunes right now. It's his debut album, so get on that.
I love Anthony. Anthony's like an Italian, comfortable, like Thanksgiving-looking kid. Like, he always looks like a guy you're making a sandwich on Thanksgiving.
We got a lot of crazy stories. Brock Osweiler, do you hear about this guy? He returned to the Denver Broncos, but first he made a stop in Idaho. Apparently he lost his plane ticket on the way back and was returned for a touchdown.
That's not nice, man.
No, do you know him?
Brock doesn't deserve that.
No?
No, he doesn't.
He's your guy?
Jeez,
No,
you're
he
not
just
gonna-
really sucks, but he doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve that.
He's a quarterback, right?
Yeah, Denver.
Kinda.
I don't like him either. Anybody named Brock, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Except Lou Brock.
Sure.
But that was the last name. I'm working on a character, Lou Brock Eisweiler. Steals bases. But all these guys always seem to have crazy fathers, you know?
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Like, shut up.
That ain't crazy. Why you trying to do that?
I'm just
What's it all about?
saying, they say such nice things about their kids. I'm not used to that. I told my father I wanted to be an astronaut. He's still laughing. This was last year. No, they're over. Don't you think that's bad, Howard, in sports, to overly hype your kid? You know?
Nah, you know what it is? I think we build too much into what our kids are doing. We're failed athletes ourselves. Well,
Right.
not me,
Well, not
but
you.
most people are. And they like, you got your son, he's like 5 foot tall, he's 17 years old. You think he's going to the NFL. It just usually doesn't work out that way.
Right. It never does.
Yeah, and this
Except for
guy
you.
was like, he was already on Denver, now he's back.
Right.
I think OJ got a more enthusiastic homecoming.
Is OJ on Denver?
We got Ric Flair, this guy, so one of the most famous wrestlers ever. We talked about him a lot because we had Chris Jericho
Oh my
on
God, he
last
stopped
week.
the roids. He looks terrible. I want to hang out with that guy. I look like a young Mark Hamill. That was the most depressing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, the best part is he tweeted it out, and in the tweet, like, I'm doing better, here's a tweet, and he plugged his merch website in the tweet.
If you saw Ric Flair like 20, 30 years ago and said he'd say the word tweet a lot, in the future, he'd still be punching you in the face.
The nature boy.
Well, you knew the Nature Boy, right?
Yeah, I met him a few times, bro. I didn't meet that guy. I don't know who that
Nothing natural about that guy.
guy. The nature boy, that was not nature. That's more like Walking Dead.
All right, the U.S. Open is happening right now. Tennis players, they always grunt when they hit the ball. Give us your best tennis grunt. That was beautiful. That was Sharapova-esque.
Wasn't the first time.
That felt healthy. Felt like a little bit of a cough, a little bit of a grunt. That's it.
All right, should I try hard? Okay.
Give us your best tennis grunt. I love it. Perfect. Not too crazy, not too sexy. Just a nice boom. That was nice. Sexy and affirmative.
Gotta make a screechy sound, like something to make people like excited.
First time I'd say Joe List was overpaid for something.
Lonzo Ball called out Nas, the rapper.
Oh.
He said,
You don't want to do that.
he said he basically said that he's not relevant anymore. And look, I get why this guy doesn't respect his elders with his dad, you know. But
Another guy with a dad, right?
another guy with a dad.
Yeah, he's gonna be better than Michael Jordan or something.
That's what his dad said.
That happened.
Lonzo Ball actually speaks.
Occasionally.
I know his dad spoke.
He's like Keller. His dad's like Penn. He's like Keller. I mean, they do magic. Yeah, you don't say your kids will be Michael Jordan. How stupid is that? Come on.
No, he said he could be Michael Jordan, not Ball, not Lonzo.
My dad said I was going to be Don Herrera. Set me up for failure.
Man, that's what my mom said about me, too.
See? I knew I saw you at Thanksgiving.
So apparently Nas's manager called Lonzo Ball oatmeal face on Twitter, which is actually not a bad insult.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you haven't been in the projects for a while. Like, oatmeal fake. Nas is one of those guys who has 14 of the classic rap albums of all time, if you talk to Dave Chappelle. He got mad that Letterman didn't know that. Dave, I almost didn't come tonight because it's the 15th anniversary of Nas' Nas's 4th album.
Chappelle's man, he's like, you're not familiar with KRS-One's catalog? Letterman's
like, no, I haven't.
Nas posted a rebuttal. It's just him smoking a blunt. that was the rebuttal.
There's a rebuttal.
Yeah, I like that. Hey, Lonzo Ball's like a 19-year-old kid, and Nas is just like, yeah, let me impress this kid. It's like, how weird is that?
I get better weed than you. Nas. What does Nas stand for, Howard?
I don't know. I don't listen to Nas.
I'm not going to ask Sam.
John Wall basically broke the ankles of an MTV comedian here, Lil Duval. Let's go to this because it's pretty good.
Lil
He doesn't look like it's going to go well for him.
Oh,
my God.
Man.
Oh,
I would have done the same thing.
I would walk out of the gym. I'd crawl out. I wouldn't want anybody to see this.
Oh, man.
How many times does that guy look at a poster of Kevin Hart before he goes out the door? It's possible.
Jose Calderon is actually suing him for stealing his signature defensive move.
Oh, wow.
Jose Calderon.
Love Calderon.
I do. I like that.
That's pretty rough, man. I don't know. Like, at what point do you just not agree to the game?
Would you have tried that?
Yeah.
Would you have tried to cover John Wall?
I would have given him the jump shot and let him hit it.
You'd have laid
Do a
back.
fadeaway or something.
You don't get up on a
foul
great
him.
ball
Just
handler.
foul him.
Everything's a joke.
Yeah, you don't go, this is my night. This is little Duval's night.
Little Robert Duvall.
It'd be like YMCA Old Man League. I'd foul his ass. He wouldn't go by me like that. I'd tackle him right there. Put him down.
Everything's got to be a joke. I mean, it's like, come on, they're playing basketball.
I haven't seen things go that bad for him since he was on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Rough stand-up set.
I bet he bombed on Guy Code.
I don't know if you're going for. He was actually on Guy Code.
I'm sure he was. Everybody born after 1980 was.
Everyone except me and Anthony.
Oh, good for you.
Dave Attell once said to me, he's like, you're not on Guy Code. Too morose.
I thought it was going to be meaner than that.
He went easy on me.
I saw a fan came up to him once and said, when did you know you were a comedian? When I started hating people like you. And I said, I'm sorry, ma'am.
We got more coming up right after this on People Talking Sports. Liz Gonzalez and another thing. Stick around. We're back with Liz Gonzalez and another thing.
Yeah, it's Thursday. The NFL season finally kicks off tonight.
Yeah.
Are we all watching?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Kansas City at New England. There's people that are saying that this is going to be a blowout and a surprise blowout. The Kansas City is going to take down the Patriots, which is just completely ridiculous.
Is Tom Brady 50 yet? I mean, what?
He's 40.
Yeah, I'm going to say, when are they going to start to suck? There's something bad going on.
Not this year.
We're going to find out.
They might let Giselle play quarterback this game, just to give Kansas City a
My
chance.
husband can't catch and throw the ball.
Oh, yeah, back in the Super Bowl days, yeah. I mean, he doesn't lose at home. It's just if he doesn't lose
He's tired of it, I
at
guarantee
Gillette. He doesn't eat meat. That's what keeps him so young.
Yeah.
Or like
I hate him
nightshade.
more.
Nightshade.
He's like Nightshade. What the heck is that?
Yeah, like tomato. I don't even know what that is. But the game that I'm most excited about is when the Seahawks visit the Packers at Lambeau Field. That's my game of the week. I think that these are the two best teams in the NFC, and I know we're talking to a giant here, but I stand by that. Two best teams in the NFC, and one of these teams we're going to see in the Super Bowl. Seattle's defense just got that much better with the addition of Sheldon Richardson, who is a beast. But unfortunately for him, he's going to be up against Aaron Rodgers, who has tons of weapons, and a healthy Jordy Nelson, and Martellus Bennett, who I think is going to light it up this year.
Martellus.
You're such a homer
How do
with
you
the
guys
Green
call him
Bay
Martellus?
Packers. I tell you what's going to happen in the game. They're going to get
Martellus
smoked.
Bennett.
Seattle's going to crush them.
Get out of here.
He just broke up with his girlfriend. He's in a bad
Yeah, he's
mood.
ready to go.
He's ready to go. That's what it is. You
Yeah.
think they're done? Seattle's going to crush them.
That's like the most boring hot take ever. He's gonna get injured in the first game.
No, not injured. Just mentally going to be done for the rest of the year. He's a weird dude
At
anyway.
Lambeau?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
I like that take.
Yeah, I love that take.
Are you excited about the Giants-Cowboys game? I mean, we know now that Zeke is going to play in the first game, so a little bit nervous.
I cannot believe they're letting Zeke play. He's supposed to be suspended.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's pause that right there because there is no proof that he hit anybody. In fact, it's quite the opposite. So it's interesting that the NFL is choosing to stick with the suspension because There's no proof.
Your theory is great, but it's a privilege playing NFL, not a right. And if someone says you can't do something, like in any job, they can fire you at any time. They're not firing, just giving a 6-game suspension.
Good for
Get
you.
over it.
Yeah. Zeke Mohawk's got 80.
That's a huge chunk of the season.
I think we'll probably get a 6-game suspension after the show.
It's been another fun one.
This is better air.
I thought you were going to be a little less tame. I'm a little surprised.
Thank you so much for joining us, Howard.
you.
1st and 10 every Friday in MSG and
Howard's the
post-game.
best. Yeah.
And post-game with the New York Giants. And Artie Lange on this season, second season of Crash on
That's
HBO. I personally saw him just crush. So good on the episode that I got to watch on, and so good on every episode.
Yeah,
this
you were
season.
there too. It was great. It was.
I really killed my one line. Really crushed it. But thank you so much. Artie Lange also got a new radio show with Anthony Cumia. As
Right,
well, right?
absolutely. I work with all the biggies.
People talking sports. Keep watching the show. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.